Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are diving deep into the React Router DOM, one of the most essential library for building single page web applications in React. So whether you are just getting started or looking to master routing in your React app, this video will cover everything you need to know about React Router DOM v6. So let's get started. So let's quickly go over what we will cover in this video. Here is the roadmap. First, we will understand what React Router DOM actually is and why it's important. Then we will walk through how to install and set up in a React project. Then we will learn how to define routes, create navigation links and handle dynamic routes and URL parameters. Then we will also explore what are the nested routes, protected routes, how to handle 404 pages and even lazy loading and performance tips. So by the end of this video, you will have a complete understanding about how to build real-world multi-page experience in a single page React app. So let's begin with the basics. First, what is React Router DOM? It is a routing library specifically made for React, which allows you to build single page applications that feels like multi-page apps. In a typical website, clicking a link causes the whole page to reload. That's a traditional routing. But with React Router DOM, your app stays on a single HTML page and only the necessary components are updated when you navigate. This makes your app faster, responsive and provide a smoother user experience. It handles everything from navigation between pages, reading URLs, to rendering components conditionally based on the routes. In short, React Router DOM brings real-world page navigation to your React app. So to see how it works, suppose this is an site where these are the components. So URL parameter is a separate component, nesting is a separate component, redirect is a separate component, and more thing. And this is the URL for this basic. As you can see, basic is written here. So this component is used with this URL. If we click on the URL parameters, then the URL changes and also the component here changes. This is due to the React Router DOM. But what is the difference between normal routing and React Router DOM? You can see here there is a reload button which reloads the site. If you are using any traditional sites built using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, whenever you navigate to different page, this reload indicator will start working. But with React Router DOM, the page will not get reloaded and the component will also be displayed here. Just see this reload indicator. If we click on nesting, the URL changes, the page changes, but the reloading indicator will not reload. That's the beauty of the React Router DOM. And by the end of this video, we will learn how to implement React Router DOM in our project. So let's begin with the basic. First, we will see how to install and set up React Router DOM in our project. So for that, first we need to create a simple React application. So this is a CMD or PowerShell, whichever you want, you can open. And first we need to create a simple React app. So for that, the command is create React app. And the name of that app, let's say demo project. It will take some time to create the React app, and as soon as it's get completed, we will open it inside the Visual Studio Code. Okay. I hope Visual Studio Code is installed in your machine. If not, then you can visit the Visual Studio Code official site and download it for your desktop. So this is the site and you can directly download it for Windows. You don't need any additional setup and you can directly open React application inside it. Okay. As you can see, the installation is completed. The project is being created. And we can go inside our demo project and simply type code here and the whole code will be opened inside Visual Studio Code. This is the basic code that we get whenever we create an empty project. There is a src folder, and inside that there are files. So for setting up React Router DOM, first we need to install it, and for that this is the package provided by npm React Router DOM. For the installation, we need to copy this command, go inside our Visual Studio Code, open terminal here, and simply paste it in the terminal. So this command states that install the React Router DOM for our project. When we hit enter, it will take few seconds, and you can see the package has been installed. If we go inside package.json where there is a list of all the packages, you can see React Router DOM has been added, and the version, it states the version of which version the React Router DOM has been installed. Okay, now to use it inside our application, simply we can go to app.js file and import anything from that React Router DOM library. Let's say browser router, and it will automatically fetch that browser router is present inside React Router DOM, and it will be used inside our application. So in this way we had done the setup and installation for our React Router DOM. In the next step, we will try creating routes and pages. In the last step, we had created a project and installed React Router DOM inside it. And in this step, we are going to define routes and create pages for our application. Okay, so in this application, we don't need this setup test.js file, this report, and this logo. I'm going to delete these files. Inside app.js file, we don't require this much of code. We can clear it. We also don't require this logo which is imported. In index.js file, we don't require this report web vitals. Delete the import, and also you can delete this app.test.js file. Okay, now our application is ready. Simply we need to write npm start for running our application. And you can see the application starts on localhost 3000. The application is running. We are not seeing here anything because we had cleared everything from our application. Okay, so to make it work, let's say if we type anything here, it will get reloaded and our content will appear here. Okay, now to define routes, first we need to create components. So what are components like? If we open anything, let's say React Router DOM, this one, then this nav bar is a component, this content is a component, this sidebar is a component. Then when we click on anything, then this is a separate component, dependency is a separate component. All these things are defined using routes. So if you see above, for readme, this route is present. When we click on code, then the route changes and this component is rendered. For the dependency, route changes and this component is rendered. Similarly, we need to define first components. In our application, we will create a separate pages folder, and inside that we will create separate components. So let's say first one is a home component. For that, I will name it as home.js. This is a shortcut to create the functional component. It will automatically create a home component here. So for this, you can download the extension called as let's say React snippets. Okay, This will automatically complete your code using small snippets. You can download it from here. Then we need to create about.js file for the about component. Okay, then the next thing, minimize it, we can create home about. Demo.js. Let's say this is a demo page. Okay, now we had created components: home component, demo component, about component, 3 components. But how to display these components inside our application? So for this we need to define a route for each particular component. Let's go in a website, let's go inside our code, and inside our app.js file, first we need to write browser router. This is the main component that inside that all the routes are wrapped. Okay, so we had used browser router, then we need to use routes, and now we can individually define route. Okay, so inside route component there are some props. Okay, if we go inside it, the props are like children, location, navigation type, navigator, static. Okay, and we don't require this all props. Usually we can use like element. So which element we are going to use? So in this case we are going to use our home component, and what will be the route for it? Okay, so for route there is a path prop, and inside path we can pass that if we are on our home route, that is localhost 3000, then render this home component. Now let's go to our site and see that we are at our home route and our home component has been rendered. Now let's define the other components too. I'll copy this one and paste it here. Inside home is done, then about. Next one is demo component. So for about we will write about, for demo we will write demo. Okay, now we had defined 3 routes for 3 components. Let's go to the site. This is the home URL. If we go on about, then above component will be rendered here. If we go for demo, then demo page will be loaded here. So in this step we had defined the routes and created 3 pages for it. In the next step we are going to see how to handle navigation using link, NavLink and useNavigate. Okay. In the third step we are going to see how we can perform the navigation using link, NavLink and useNavigate. Okay, so this is our basically a website that we had created in the last step, and we can't change URL each time by manually going to the URL section and changing it here. We need something that can automatically handle navigation, such as the button or link or anything. Whenever we click on that, the page should be changed and that component should be displayed. So for that there are 3 things provided by the React Router DOM. The first one is link, then there is NavLink and there is useNavigate. So let's see one by one what they mean and why they are different from each other. Okay, so first let's see about link. If we go to the home page, it is the default page, and here we need to define a navigation that should take us to the about page or demo page. So how we can do that? First let's try it with the link one. Okay, now the link is provided by the React Router DOM. As you can see, whenever we try to write it, it appears here. When we click on the link, first we need to provide the path, to which path we are going to navigate. So here we are going to navigate at about page, and what content we need to display as a link. I just want to display here as navigate to about. If we go to our site here, and that's the demo page running. If we go to home page, and you can see navigate to about has been appeared. As soon as we click on this link, we will be taken to about component without actually reloading the site. You can see here, whenever we click on this, the URL will be changed and about component will be loaded here. So we can use link where if we want to replace the traditional anchor tag. Okay, so what exactly is the difference? I will show here. This is using router, and this is using normal anchor tag. If we go to the site, and if we go to the home page, then you can see, let me bring them to separate line. Okay, so this is the navigation using the anchor tag, and this is using the React Router. If we click on the anchor tag, just notice the reload button here. The site reloads and we are taken to the about component. But if we try using the React Router DOM, when we click on the about, the site doesn't reloads and the about component is displayed. So this is the difference between the traditional anchor tag and the link tag that is provided by React Router DOM. Okay, so if we want to replace the anchor tag, a similar like functionality to anchor tag, then we can directly use the link here. Okay, that's about the link. Next we are going to see is about NavLink. Okay, it's quite similar to link, but if we want to highlight the active route, if in case we are using let's say navbar or any other thing, then we can use the NavLink here. So this is the home page, and what I want to show here is if you use NavLink here. So inside NavLink we can use the route. What we can do, we can use it at other place. Okay, this is the home page component. Let's go to the app.js file and let's wrap it inside a fragment. I hope you know what fragment is. Here I will use the NavLink. It will have and about the page. It will have a class name, and we can use is active. If it is active, then or else nothing. Similar thing, we can copy it. Sorry, it's about home. Paste it 3 times. Second is for about, let's say about, and next thing is about demo. Let's write a demo here. If you go to the site, use location where it is. Okay. We had used it outside our DOM. Okay, so because we want to show that what's the difference between this NavLink and normal link, because it provides extra functionality of class name where we can actually highlight which route is active or which component is active. Okay, so here you can see there are 3 NavLinks that we had created, and currently if we go to the home page, then wait, something is wrong here. Okay, if we go on to the home page, then home page will be rendered. If we go to about page, then about page will be rendered, and if we go to the demo page, then the demo page will be rendered. So it's almost similar like NavLink, but one thing we can use class name to highlight if it is active or not. I'm not sure why it's not working in this case, but you can use it whenever you are creating any nav bar, or you just want some conditional styling here, you can use it. Okay, that's the about NavLink. And next thing we are going to see is about useNavigate. Okay, so for this, inside app.js file, I will remove these NavLinks that we had created it recently. And if we go to the home page, now we are going to use useNavigate. It is a kind of hook. So for that, first we need to define the hook using the useNavigate. I defined it here, and let's create a button here which will say navigate to about page. Okay, there will be an on click. That on click will navigate to the URL that we want. So for this, we want it to be navigated to about page. So this navigate will accept a route which we can directly pass here or using the function. Okay, and we will assign this on click to on click. If we go to the site, then you can see on the home page there will be a content navigate to about page. This will be a button. If we click on this, oh wait, it is a function, right? So if you go to the home page and if you click on this button, then we will be why it's not working. Okay, if we click on this navigate, I'm not sure why it's not working. Okay, wait. If we click on this button, then it's not navigating here. Oh sorry, it's on click. I just typed it small, that's why it was not working. So this is a handle click, and if you go onto the site and click on this, then you can see we will be navigated to the about page using that useNavigate. Okay, that was about link, NavLink and useNavigate. In the next step, we will learn about what are the dynamic routes and how we can handle it using the parameters and how the components can be rendered by bypassing the dynamic parameters. So for that, let's go to our site and we'll clear the code that we had written in the last step. We'll clear this one, the whole thing. Okay, now this is the home page, and what we are going to do, name it as home page, and inside that page we will create a component. Let's say this is user profile. Let's write the code here. Now this is the normal user profile, and here we need to render the name. Okay, we need to define the name here such that whenever we click on the URL, the specific user will be displayed as per the URL. So as per the URL, I mean is that this is our site, and if I click on this user profile and pass on the name, let's say if I pass on this Aditya, then the page user profile component will be displayed, which will have the name of Aditya. Okay, so for that, what we can do, first we need to define the route for it. In the app.js file, we define a dynamic route. It will have an element of user profile, and inside that the path will be user profile, and it will have the name. Okay, it will be /name. So whatever name I will pass inside that URL, that name we can fetch that name and use it inside our component. So to fetch the name, you can use the existing function that is present in the React Router DOM, that is use params, and using use params we can directly use the name here. So let's try it. If I go to the user profile and pass on my name, then you can see Aditya has appeared here. If I try with any other name such as Ram, then Ram will be appeared here. So this is the dynamic way of routing. You can pass anything. Let's say if you want to pass ID here, you can pass it. Then inside the user profile, there we can get it using the params. We can create a method called as fetch profile, and inside fetch profile we can create an API request that will fetch the user profile according to the ID, and we can render that user here. So in this way, this dynamic routing helps if the content is not specific, and if you want to handle many components, if you want to handle multiple values under a single component, then we can use this dynamic routing. Okay, so this was all about the dynamic routing. You can use it using that useNavigate also inside that home page. Let's say if I create a button, navigate to user profile, and I will create a button function here. First we need to use that useNavigate. Then I will create a function, let's say, which will help to navigate to the route that we had created. User profile slash Aditya, let's say, and simply inside on click we can use that function. So let's go to our site. This is the home page, and if we click on this navigate to home page, the URL will be changed to Aditya, and that Aditya will be fetched by use params. Okay, so this was all about the dynamic routes and URL parameters. In next step we'll see what are the nested routes and layouts. Okay, in this step we will see what are the nested routes and how we can use it inside our application. So nested routes are nothing but, if we see the folder structure here, I had just changed I had made a few changes here. So this is the nav bar that is present at the top of the site, that we are going to use it inside our home page, and these three components, that is about, home and profile, that will be rendered under home page. Means home page will be displayed, but inside home page these three components will be used along with the home page content, and demo.js is a separate component that doesn't displays under home page. So for this, inside home page, first we need to use this nav bar that we had created. Okay, and inside app.js file, first we need to define the route. So the path will be slash homepage and element will be home. Okay, now inside home page there will be three routes. First route will have a path of, let's say, about. It will have an element of about. In the similar way, we need to define two more routes for one more route for the profile. So for this I will write profile here, and it will be profile page, and for demo page the route will be different. Okay, now if we go on to the home page, let's say we want to display a home component. So for that, inside home page I will create an home component. Let's say RFJ, this is the initial home component, and inside this routes in the app.js file we will create another route. It's this home page, and this will be our index element. Okay, index means whenever we go to the home page, this will be displayed as a default one. Okay, home component. All right, so inside home page there will be three subcomponents, that is home page component, about component, and profile component, and demo will be a separate component. Now inside navbar.js, this is home component, that is home page, and we are going to write it home page. If we go to our site, inside our application, and if we go to the home, you can see there will be a separate nav bar which will say home page, about, and contacts. So this is the initial component that we see. If we click on home page, then we will be redirected to the home page. Let me see by contact. It's profile, right? And something is wrong with the CSS. Oh, now we are in the home.js file. We had only rendered this nav bar, but how to display the content here? So for this, the React Router DOM provides us the outlet. This outlet is nothing but it will render all the subroutes that are present in this home page. So if we go to the home page, then if we try to reload, this is our initial home component that will be rendered whenever we go to the home page. If we click on about, then we will be redirected to the about page. But did this nav bar that is present here will be always present, it will not go anywhere. If we click on the profile page, then profile will be rendered. So in this way, this nested routes work. It means that this component will remain same, but its children that are going to render here will be changed. Okay, so in this way we had implemented the nested routes. So for that, inside route we need to define the subroutes, and in the main component, that is home component, we can use that subroutes using this outlet function which is provided by React Router DOM. It helps to render the subroutes here. So that was about the nesting routes. In this step, we are going to see what is the protected route and how we can create it. So for this, first I had created 3 files, that is about.js, home.js, and profile.js, and we are going to keep this profile.js as protected one. If the username doesn't matches, then we are not going to show this profile page. Let's say it's protected profile page. Okay, so for this is the URL, and for the profile one, what we can do is about profile. Okay, need to create a home page too. Okay, we are all set. So if we now let's make it dynamic route. If we go on to this profile page, it will be accessible. So for that, first we will create an interface for protected route. Let's say protected route .js. So inside that protected route, what we are going to do is, first we will create a component. Let's say it's protected route, and we will accept a children here. Okay, now inside this, first we will get those params. Let's say username, using that useParam method that we had seen in the previous steps. So using that username, first we will check whether if username, let's say, matches to my name, then we are going to return the profile if in case the username doesn't matches, then we will redirect to user to say, let's say h1 username is incorrect, and I had done one mistake. let's say we need to use here children, whatever we pass. And that protected route, we had not imported it correctly. It should be like this. Okay, so inside app.js file, if we go to this thing, if we click on this name, it says username is incorrect. But if I also say Aditya, then it will say username is incorrect. We need to be case sensitive. If we now click enter, I will make it case sensitive bit, because it's automatically turning it into the lowercase. So this is the protected profile page. If we go to another thing, then it will say username is incorrect. But if you type Aditya, then it will say it's protected profile page. That's about this protected route. We had by mistakenly added the codes here, that's why it was not working. So in the index.js file, in the app.js file, we can wrap it inside the protected route, pass the children as a prop, which can be rendered here. If name matches or any condition matches, you can write any condition here, and in this way the protected route is implemented. Next step is about the 404 page handling. It says if suppose in the in the app.js file, if we enter any invalid route, let's say anything invalid route, then which is not defined here, then it will return the message as page not found 404. If we go to the site, this profile page works. If we go to the about, then about component will work. But if we try to hit enter any invalid value, then it will say page not found 404. So this was all about the 404 page handling. So we had seen all the things which are important in React Router DOM, and for the performance thing, if we don't want if you want to increase the performance, let's say if you don't want to load the routes at start only, so these are the many routes that are present here, and if you don't want to load these all routes at a single time, then we can use lazy loading. So for lazy loading, what you can do, let's say this is an about page, and here you can implement this suspense, and inside that there is a fallback which will say a div is present, and it will be saying loading, and once that component is loaded, we will show it. Once that component is loaded, we will pass that about component here. What it does is that instead of directly loading all the routes at initialization, it loads whenever the URL is called. So if we go to the page, and we can't see much difference, but if the application is big, then the differences can be noticed. If we go to the about page, then let's say it's home page. If we go to the about, then about component will be loaded. So this is the performance tip that can be used in the big application. For the small application, it will not be much useful, as the routes are quite less, and we can use it here. Okay,